What's up, Narc? Currently, everybody's so convinced that their side's winning, dude. It's gonna be a brutal night for half the country in a few days. Who in chat thinks the person they voted for is going to win?
What you think about when you're born into a fire. Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away.
I didn't ask who you voted for. I said, okay.
Never let the truth fade away.
It's been over a year. Oh, you might not like my new politics. Now let's go.
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that.
Well, I appreciate you coming back.
Never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome. Uh-oh. Somebody sent me this and said they thought they saw Phil at the Trump rally. It's like a chubby Phil, isn't it? It's like a puffy Phil, right? It's like he's bloated. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for being here. It's like his ears are swollen. Maybe he's having an allergic reaction. What do you think? Anyways, welcome everybody. I'm Will Bird. This is the Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. I'm here. Still recovering from Helene. Man, it's a mess. I didn't do a whole lot today. I went out and got a farm jack because we need it to lift like some cinder block walls, and some buildings need to be jacked up and torn down, and I got some danger tape. So one thing that sucks with them like repairing part of our road is now we got people that are just like venturing back there. They busted people there at like 1 o'clock in the morning, fucking showing up and just digging through shit. And like, I don't know if they're looting or they claim they're just out there to look, but it's a public road all the way to our address, so that we can't actually close the road. We've put up signs that says like, please proceed on foot. You know, the road's washed out. We're trying to save the road, shit like that. But it don't fucking stop anybody, right? They just do their thing. They come out, fucking just taking selfies in front of the river and shit. I don't know. And it's weird. Like all of our shit's destroyed and like people are coming out just to take selfies and shit. Like I know I make content, but I fucking live there, right? Like other people coming out to take fucking selfies in front of our demolished fucking property is pretty fucked up. I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way. So I usually fucking mean to them until they leave, but whatever. Not a whole lot of progress really today. We bought some stuff, taped some stuff off. I think Mariah did some laundry, and then made tacos. But I think everybody thinks that their side's winning so close, right? I saw Nate Silvers did an analysis saying that the polls can't be as close as they claim. Hold on. He did some type of analysis. I'll try to let him explain it, or I'll read his shit. Saying that pollsters are lying. And the reason he does this is because how close it's showing in every swing state is like a 1 in 9 billion chance or something. Says polling expert Nate Silver criticized other pollsters for manipulating survey results in the lead up to the 2024 presidential election. He accused them of recycling past results to keep the race between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris appearing close. Silver, founder of 538, now he's the guy who runs the 538 polls, which we usually use, called out pollsters for hurting their numbers, specifically mentioned Emerson College in his criticism. I kind of trust pollsters less, Silver said during an episode of his weekly podcast, Risky Business, with Nate Silver and Maria Konnikova. They all, every time a pollster says, oh, every state is just +1, every single state's a tie. No, you're fucking hurting. You're cheating. Silver's own model shows Trump ahead of Harris. As the election nears, he expressed frustration with pollsters showing close races, consistently arguing they were trying not to stand out. He suggested your numbers aren't all going to come out exactly 1 point leads when you're sampling 800 people over dozens of surveys. You're lying. You're putting your fucking finger on the scale. Silver also criticized pollsters to avoid releasing surprise numbers, saying if a pollster never publishes any numbers that surprises you, then it has no value. You wouldn't think that all polls would average out, right? You would have to have at least one poll that's like, whoa, where'd this come from at some point? You would think. I don't know. Let's see. He posted something today. Let me see if I can find it. Nate Silver 538 on Twitter. The polls are about as close to 50-50 as they can get, but the results might not look very close on election night. Why? Polling error. A normal size polling miss could give either candidate a landslide on Tuesday. Where's what he did? We have another model to take for you, blah, blah, blah. The first approximation, the model doesn't really use national polls when there are sufficient numbers of recent state polls, which there are. Our forecast of the population of the popular vote is Harris plus 2.1 higher than her national polling average of 0.9. What accounts for the difference? Well, about 10 states have no polling at all, but Harris's numbers are actually pretty good in some of the lightly polled states, Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska. She's seen her numbers improve in New York, New Jersey lately, too, possibly some hurting in the national polls. Morning update model, New York Times swing state polls, good for Harris, but not great. Morning consult, swing state polls, good for Trump, but not great. It's a pure toss-up. All the numbers are at this link. He links them. Where's the one I was looking for? I saw somebody go over it today. Trump plus 9 out in Iowa today from Emerson. Some initial thoughts here. More to come later. Gutsy. It is incredibly gutsy to release this poll. It won't put Harris ahead in our forecast because there was also another Iowa poll out today that was good for Trump, but wouldn't want to play poker against Ann Selzer. That's a Des Moines, Iowa poll. League Seltzer poll. Scales of what I do. 99% a conservative estimate. What's a conservative estimate? They had Clinton as more likely to win Wisconsin than Vermont. I don't always agree with Nate Silver, but I feel like he at least has data to back up his stuff. I don't know. I can't find his post now, but oh well. He was basically saying the chances of all of these polls being within 1 point is just astronomically low. Instead, it seemed more like nobody wanted to put a poll out there that showed Harris way ahead or Trump way ahead. And instead, they were just making them too close to call, basically. And he was basically accusing them of producing them as too close to call. Or maybe throwing out their outliers or some shit because it didn't seem like it could come out to that. Just say no to analysis of early voting. It probably won't help you make better predictions, but you may fool yourself. Here's why. The blue wall being Harris' best path, but PA lagging a point or so behind Wisconsin. Michigan is pretty much exactly the scenario where she should have picked Shapiro as her running mate. Dude posts too much as well. Jesus. And then while we were sitting here going through this, there are too many polls in the swing states that show the race exactly Harris +1, tie, Trump +1. Should be more variance than that. Everyone's hurting, or everyone but the New York Times Siena polls. I know everybody's fucking locked in on their candidate. It's going to be a rude awakening for some people. Oh, well, it could be a rude awakening for one side, and the other side's going to scream that everybody cheated. I don't know. That's the world we live in now. These people cheated. It's stolen. Russia, it's a witch hunt. Russia, whatever. All right, here we go. Another debate. This one was pretty funny, honestly. Let me know what you think about it.
So with the American election happening in the coming days, I'm speaking to a social media personality, Destiny, otherwise known as Stephen Bonnell, his real name, and Gavin McKinney is founder of the Proud Boys, a far-right organisation, designated terrorist group in Canada and New Zealand. So let's get started. We'll talk about Trump and we'll talk about Kamala Harris. So let's start with Trump. Gavin, we'll start with you. So Trump is currently in several court cases of being accused of rape, election interference, and different things.
Rape? Wow.
Isn't he not? And
I can't fuck with Trump anymore. I'm so fucking done with Trump. So fucking tired of seeing all of his cronies and people who just blindly support. Oh, I'm so tired of it.
What do you think of all of this, and why are you supporting him?
I just realized I dislike Destiny quite a bit because he represents this sort of cuck culture, but I realize I hate British people even more. You're all retarded. You're the victims of your BBC government-funded propaganda. Rape? He was charged with rape. One thing you have to understand is our justice system is fucking garbage. Our judges are retarded. So when you hear someone has been accused or someone's going to court or someone was sentenced or someone's in jail, it doesn't mean they're guilty. It means they're victims of lawfare. And Trump has been a victim of lawfare since he started running in 2016. In 2015, he was a victim of lawfare.
So the election. So let's talk about the election interference one. So he called up the Georgia governor and asked to find 11,700 votes.
The Proud Boys are still around. They take more of a back seat now, especially after like January 6th stuff. So a lot of the militia stuff went like under the radar. Somebody just did a story the other day that was like, oh, it was basically they're still doing it. They're still building. They're still growing. They still plan to fucking defend Trump no matter what. But they want to do it off social media, and they introduce people to it differently than saying, hey, you want to join a militia? Because people have this mentality of like January 6th and shit. They introduce it very slowly or slow roll people into it, almost like it's a club, and then it becomes a militia. But the Proud Boys are kind of doing the same thing.
Correct.
Yes, he was aware that the election was stolen, and it was. And now just saying that is considered a crime. I mean, you get sued to bankruptcy for pointing out that the election was stolen. He asked the government.
Not only do you have to believe that, like, prosecutors and judges are on the take, you have to believe that every person on a jury is now on the take, right? Or they fucking are against Trump or whatever.
Governor to find the votes that had been stolen. I think Dinesh D'Souza's movie, what is it, 2,000 Mules, perfectly summarizes how the election was stolen.
Destiny, I mean, I guess. Stephen, sorry, do you want to respond?
Yeah, Stephen's good. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know.
You're not going by Destiny anymore?
No, I'm not a professional gamer anymore. Yeah, I don't even know where to start. I mean, Trump was convicted in front of a jury. So, I mean, if you don't like the fact that a jury convicts somebody of a crime.
Well, that means he's guilty.
By definition.
You know what I mean, my friend?
What do you think guilty?
Yeah. Convicted by a jury does mean guilty, right? Isn't that a definition of guilty?
Jail for bullshit?
Probably none. Honestly, though, your friends, they probably deserved it. And then this idea that Dinesh, the 2,000 Mules movie, would like proved anything. What a joke of a horrible fucking movie. The producers actually delisted it because that movie was such.
You could say you were falsely found guilty, but you're still guilty.
And they didn't want civil liability for being sued over it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. You get sued.
Yeah, when you tell lies, about people, you get sued for it. It's called defamation.
No, you're lying right now. These are lies.
What am I
the
lying?
Election was stolen.
Really?
The election
Really?
was stolen.
Where was the evidence for that? Why have 3 attorneys been disbarred? What?
Our only hope is to be too big to rig. That's our only hope this election because you're going to rig it again. You people.
How was it rigged in 2020?
He has no answer. There's no answer. There's just a cuck response. They're just mad that like their Big Daddy Trump lost.
Are you calling me a cuck?
Yes, you are a cuck for Trump. Yes. You like to sit in the corner?
You let men fuck you in the ass and you're not even gay.
First of all,
why does Gavin McInnes turn more and more into Colonel Sanders every time I see him?
Did let men fuck me in the ass. That's not cuckoldry. You know what cuckoldry is?
I'm predicting your divorce to the minute, and you're calling me a cuck?
Yeah,
you're in the dictionary.
A cuck and a rapist. Yeah.
Wait, so let's go back to Trump. So you're saying that. So let's talk about. So he was in court. They did find him guilty. Are you saying that's not, Gavin? Are you saying that's not actually counts as what happens in court?
Okay, this is how retarded both of you are. By the way, you're both on the left. I can tell. You said rape. E. Jean Carroll says that Trump jumped her bones in a changing room. E. Jean Carroll's dog is named Penis. Her cat is named Vagina. She painted all the trees in her yard blue. She is a crazy.
What does it matter what her dog and cat are named?
crazy old cat lady. The dress that she says he ejaculated on wasn't made by DKNY during that time. She refuses to have it DNA tested. That is the level of lunatic that is allowed to go to court and win an $85 million settlement against Trump. That's where our justice system is at when they've decided there's a bad guy. And all of those other charges, oh, he overvalued his real estate. But everyone does that, and the bank does their due diligence. These two, as the Supreme Court called them, sophisticated parties, were well aware of what was going on. They got paid back, but they go to prison. Just like in Britain, where fucking Tommy Robinson goes to jail because his brother-in-law wasn't totally honest about his mortgage loan that he paid back. So both two-tier Kier over in your shithole island and our destroyed country have the same garbage law, the same garbage court system. It's a disgrace.
Okay, so first of all, how does her dog's name got to do with the court case?
What?
You mentioned what her dog's and cat's name was.
Well, I'm describing the level of lunatic who we take seriously in American courts. She is an utter. She said women enjoy rape. By the way, I could talk about E. Jean Carroll for days, but I hope those small examples illustrate how fucking insane she is.
She said that there's a sect of women that enjoy that type of fantasy, like role playing, and there's people that are into that.
She's a lunatic. And she won. And that's how you see Trump as a rapist. Stormy Daniels, he never even fucked Stormy Daniels. He paid her a nuisance fee to get her out of his hair, like all famous people do. In Hollywood, you allot a certain amount of money for the crazy bitches that say you molested them.
Yeah, no, you don't. No, you don't do that.
Yeah, you do.
No,
see your problem? You know what your problem is, Steve?
No, you don't.
You don't exist.
You don't do it.
You're Chat GPT. You don't know people.
I do know people, bro. What are you talking about?
You've never been in a fight.
Kevin, you're a broke fucking loser nobody who is fucking, I don't even know where the fuck you live right now. Like,
you don't know people. You don't know the world. So everything you get is from online.
I know plenty.
Jesus.
I know plenty of people that know you too, Gavin. I know so much about you from people that I know behind the scenes, Gavin. You're a piece of shit. You're a scumbag. Not the life that you have, apparently. I mean, I'm happy to say that.
Yeah, I'm happily married with 3 kids in New York City.
Sure.
No one fucks me in the ass. And you can't predict my divorce like I predicted your divorce.
Yeah. How much does your wife keep up with your personal life, Gavin? So, how much does your wife keep up with your personal life, Gavin?
My wife is intimately involved in my personal life.
Okay.
No black men fuck my wife.
So talking about Trump,
did I not predict your divorce?
Let's get back to Trump. So let's move on from his court.
Jesus.
Right now, 2024.
It's hot quick over here, huh?
The tiebreaker, anyone could win. Gavin, why are you supporting Trump?
I mean, look at him. Why wouldn't he? Look at this dude.
Pardon me?
I said, look at this dude.
He mistaked a picture of E. Jean Carroll for his wife. What do you mean? The question you have to ask yourself, with the kind of wives Trump had, why would he sleep with a woman who looks like Stimpy for it? He thought it was his own wife. They said, can you name the people in this? And he's like, oh yeah, that's me and one of my wives. They're like, no, that's E. Jean Carroll. His defense was she was too ugly to rape. Then he mistaked her for one of his wives that he married.
Why wouldn't he? You're fucking insane. You're 2 peas in a pod.
Okay, great argument. I'm supporting Trump because politics is downstream from culture, and there's a great book by Selena Zito called The Great Revolt. And what she
she was pretty when she was young.
Discovered when she was so confused by everyone being against Obama, she assumed it was racism, and she discovered that the problem with Obama was this culture of shame and self-hatred, ethnomasochism, and disgust that the elites have for the average American. And that's what pissed them off about Obama. You know, he had to have NASA going on tour talking about what Muslims did for mathematics instead of trying to get anything into.
So, Script Keeper, you guys remember Script Keeper? It's called, you can look it up on YouTube. It's called I Want to Hurt You, Trump Supporter Threatens Opponent. It's from Eli Hassel. I Want to Hurt You. Just search that on YouTube. Script Keeper saw you know how there's like Jeeps sometimes that they'll wrap them to look like Jurassic Park? Or they'll be like cars they make look like spaceships or whatever, right? He gets behind a van today that says NASA Alien Recovery Team. And he thinks it might be real because he looked online and it's illegal to pretend to be official NASA. The thought that never runs through his head was if there was a NASA Alien Recovery Team, why would they wrap their car in it? Why wouldn't they just drive a plain van or a plain SUV? He's like, I don't know. Me and my new dog want to know. Is this real or not? You tell me.
Into space.
No.
Americans want to be proud again because they should be. And Trump's culture is no more shame, meritocracy, we're the greatest country in the world. He basically wants to make America 1985 again with jet skis and wet t-shirt contests and wraparound sunglasses. Back when we had a sense of humor and we were fun before political correctness ruined our culture. So I'm for Trump because he's pro-American culture, and that is not Kamala. she is about shame.
Stephen, I'll ask you just to respond to Gavin, and I just want to point out
At least shame.
Gavin's talking
Maybe
about
extra
political correctness. A lot
shame.
of people on the right and a lot of people around America look at what's happening and they see the Democrat Party as a party of political correctness. That does take away a bit from that's what they do talk about. They see a lot of people do see the Democrat Party as a party of political correctness. What's your thoughts on that?
These are like unserious issues for unserious people. If you spend all day on Twitter and you're obsessing over trans people, being in sports or whatever woke mind virus, whatever bullshit, I don't care about that. I care about the structure of our government. I care about the powers of the president. I care about like our foreign policy. I care about our domestic issues. Like these are the things that matter. And on every single level, Trump has failed in all of these things. So why would I? So I don't know. I'm not gonna vote for some guy because he's less woke than the other person. Also, hold on, I got a package. One second, okay? You can talk, Gavin. Nothing you say is vital.
Being less woke links down to immigration. It links down to inflation. It is linked to foreign policy. All of that stuff. It's all the same.
Okay, sorry, Gavin's mom. Give me for a second.
See, another reason you don't exist in real life is the way you talk. If we were in person, you would be choked out right now.
If we were in person, you'd probably be drunk off your ass and get arrested, thrown in the fucking tank. Okay.
I would be arrested for assaulting you.
Yeah, I'm sure you would.
That's why you talk the way you talk, because you live online.
Yeah.
You don't
People say that, and I see them in real life, and they're just these demure little submissive boys. So I don't know. Maybe. Listen, you see me beat the shit out of me. Okay, knock yourself out.
You let men fuck you in the ass. You define submissive.
Do you think about that a lot, Gavin?
No, but you call me a cuck. It's insane.
But you seem obsessed with talking about other men in their sex lives.
You brought it up. You called me a cuck, moron.
You started talking about my shit before. You literally started the conversation off calling me a cuck.
Yeah. You define culturally the bald man. And the way you talk to me is proof of that.
Okay.
So nobody's ever very good at debating Destiny. So they start out, he's bisexual, and he usually has open relationships. So that's how they attack him.
Anyway, you want to talk about immigration?
Sure.
We need to close the borders. Every country is concerned about immigration. If you don't have borders, you don't have a country. If you don't have an electoral process, you don't have a country. And we're doing real bad on both.
Why is it okay that Trump shut down the border bill that was in Congress?
Do you honestly support that border bill, or are you just kidding?
The Republicans supported it until Trump told them not to.
No, Trump told them not to. That doesn't mean they supported it.
They did.
That border bill wanted to process.
They were literally campaigning each other and advising the other Republicans to vote for it.
That's more illegals. I don't want that. You know how many people want to fuck Eva Mendes? Millions. I don't want to facilitate that. Only one guy gets to fuck her, Ryan Gosling. 3/4 of the world wants to come to America. The answer is no. I don't want to process them more. I also don't like that bill because it's got a bunch of fucking bullshit earmarked for Ukraine and all kinds of other bullshit. It's just like the Inflation Reduction Act. It does the opposite of what it says it's going to do. That bill wasn't about closing the borders. It was about facilitating more illegals.
So yeah, Stephen, why didn't they just do one single bill about immigration?
They did. They tried it. He's just lying. The Republicans just lie like they breathe. They did try to do one single bill. The Republicans still rejected it.
That's actually ironically a lie.
Okay.
So you're talking about lying as you lie. They have never proposed anything rational about immigration. It's a very simple concept. It's called closing the borders. You want to get rid of who's here? It's called attrition. You fine employers for hiring illegals, and they all go back with their tails between their legs, like they regularly do when the economy is bad. So the solution to America's plight is largely closed borders. And that, by the way, goes back to what I was saying about cultural. If you're culturally against illegal.
Why are Dems pedos? You mean like all these right-wing Republican preachers that are fucking molesting little boys and busted all the time? I don't know. Is that what you mean when you say Dems?
Immigration. That's the first step to having strong borders.
Cool. The U.S. Senate failed Thursday to advance a border security bill as both parties seek to hone their message on immigration policy in the run-up into November's elections. The Senate bill failed to advance on a 43-50 procedural vote. The chamber already rejected the measure as part of a broader foreign aid package earlier this year. When they tried it initially as part of a broader package, it failed. When they tried it on its own, it failed. So you fucking lied, okay?
No, tried it on its own is not on its own. That is a lie. It was not a cohesive, structured bill that was going to.
That's great. Now you're changing. Yeah, now you're changing the argument. The reality is, if they didn't like it, they could have debated.
They tried it with just immigration, and it didn't go.
They tried it with just the border bill. Yes.
No, it wasn't
not part of the not part of Ukraine aid.
More border crossings when the guys in charge weren't even judges. They were just random.
Ask Ollie Alexander from Stop the Steal. Ask him about it.
Customs officials who are going to stamp your.
It'll work out for you.
That's not how any of that works. That's literally not how any of that works. None of that works. Nothing you're saying is true. Literally nothing. Nothing you're saying is true.
They're not
So at the end of the day, Stephen, why did Trump have much less border encounters than Biden?
Yeah, I wonder.
Well, I mean, for one, he had COVID. He had Title 42. He could literally shut down and reject people for asylum seeking using Title 42 because of.
No, it was way before COVID. Border crossings were down.
They weren't down that much from Obama. What do you mean? Look at the immigration stats.
12 million people crossed the border under Biden. That's as many as Ellis Island in its entirety. Its entire 85 years. We've had 12 million fucking illegals, and
they're not illegals. Also, there are people that are seeking asylum. That's not an illegal immigrant. But
the quality of immigrants we're getting these days is alarming.
Ask Matt Gates. Ask Matt Gates. Ask Roy Moore from Alabama.
Destitute families looking for a job.
Well, if we would have allocated more money to the border for asylum judges to make rulings on that, we'd be able to do border faster.
They weren't judges.
Jim Jordan.
You know they weren't.
That's
Ohio State
judges. Yes, some of the funding went towards
I'm
judges.
not allotting more money. Three-quarters.
Don't a lot more money. Then have the system be backed up and have all the people in here on waiting for their court date, and then sit here and bitch about it and do fucking nothing. This is all Republicans do. All conservatives do is they cry all day about everything. They don't fix fucking anything. They've got no solutions. They just suggest pie in the sky shit that they know never fucking pass. Like, oh, deport 20 million people, and that's it. So that way they can just cry. You're permanent victims. You are a permanent victim, and you like it. You like being a victim because at the end of the day, you're the one that's dreaming about getting fucked in the ass. Okay, that's what you are obsessing with. You like to be a victim. You don't want to solve any problems. You want to sit there on your knees and you want to cry. You want to cry about it and not do anything about it. That's all you want to do.
Political affiliation has nothing to do with it. That's why you can name some and I can name some.
You are. You're crying. You're right now. The immigrants are. You're crying like a little bitch.
No, that's not. You're mistaking anger for sadness. I'm not crying liberal tears. I'm having a right-wing rage attack
a lot more
at you
delicious.
and other people who don't recognize the border problem.
Academic rights said they try to pass a bill. You guys don't even think there's a border problem. That's why you're like, fuck it.
Garbage
Like,
bill.
let's keep. Then why not debate it? Then why not debate it in the Senate? Why not reform it? Why not do something different with it?
Because it's irrevocably bad. It was not a strong border bill.
It was a Republican bill. It was authored by Langford in the Senate. He was a Republican. The Republicans supported the exact same bill he used earlier.
That are the opposite of what they purport to be. It's a scam, and people like you fall for it because you don't go outside.
Oh, yeah. Ask Tucker Carlson about Warren Jess, who's currently in prison for child rape.
You're a victim of propaganda because you just live on the internet. So we can chat GPT you.
Tucker Carlson defended him and said that he was in prison for his weird and unpopular beliefs. His weird and unpopular beliefs are raping children.
Into a fictional person. You're an AI bot.
So, Gavin, what would the Republican Party do with the border? What particular things would the Republican Party do to solve the border crisis?
Build a wall, an actual wall that goes that covers the entire southern border. Punish those who hire illegals. Let the border guards do their fucking job. Like the last time that they arrested someone, they had the strap that's used to guide a horse correctly. The administration, because they've never been down there, they've never been to West Texas. They just assume it's a whip, and they're whipping illegals. That's where the culture crosses.
Strom Thurmond
and actual policy.
That's another one.
Where they go, these poor illegals.
He actually impregnated a 15-year-old.
Getting whipped. No, we're just trying to enforce the border. If law enforcement was allowed to do its job, we could have this problem solved in one term. Again, 12 million people under Biden. What a fucking catastrophe. Totally unprecedented.
So sorry, maybe I missaid, but what exactly will the Republican Party do?
I just said they will punish those who hire illegals. That is an attrition tactic to get them to go home on their own accord.
Isn't it already illegal to hire? It's already illegal to hire illegals. What, you're gonna make an illegal thing even more illegal? Like,
okay, how are illegals working then? If it's so
because
illegal?
people, how do thieves steal from stores, Gavin? They break the fucking law. What do you mean?
Yeah, and we don't punish shoplifters for stealing.
Epstein introduced Trump to one of his girlfriends. Epstein had photos of topless minors on Trump's lap.
That's why you have to put plexiglass around your fucking...
Epstein had an insider's knowledge of Trump's White House, who to call, who to talk to, and what was going on there.
Deodorant, and that's why Walgreens and CVS are going bankrupt. We're not allowing law enforcement to do its job. We have laws on the books to prevent illegal aliens. They are being prevented from enforcing these laws. That's the problem with all your gay bills, too. We already have great laws. They're just not enforced because they're hamstrung. Fucking Biden sued Texas for putting up a barrier. He sued Arizona for enforcing immigration laws. The government sues the states for enforcing their own fucking...
The Clinton in a blue dress painting is I would say, relatively famous painting. It's an ironic painting. It's Clinton seductively sitting in a chair in the White House dressed as Monica Lewinsky.
Laws.
Yeah, because the federal government is what exclusively enforces immigration. It's not up to the states to do it.
No, states put up boundaries, they put up razor wire, and they get sued by the government for doing
so. Let's move. So, Stephen, I want to ask you about Trump. So many people, probably including Gavin, see Trump as a tough guy, maybe even a bully, but a tough guy who will get other people in other countries to listen to him. They see it as a change from Biden, who many saw as very senile and old. So they see it from Biden to Trump, and they want to like push their image on the world stage as tough and strong. What do you say to people like that? Can you see why people like Trump because of that?
I mean, Trump is like he's a weak man's version of a strong man, a guy that walks around and he screams all the time, and people think that like, wow, this is a strong dude that gets shit done. He doesn't. He's a fucking joke. Everybody knows he's a fucking joke. That's why when Kamala said his rallies were small, he lost his fucking mind. He needed to bring the answer up twice when he tried to respond to a question. Like, no, Trump didn't get shit done. Nobody respects him around the world. Like, you see world leaders like literally laughing at him when he's making speeches at the UN. You see them laughing at him in groups.
I think it's funny. Especially, I think it's funny. It would definitely be a meme today. I think here it is. Hold on. It's Clinton in a White House chair as dressed as Monica Lewinsky. I don't know.
Talking about him. He's a fucking loser. Everybody knows he's a fucking loser. So I don't know what more to say. Like, what did Trump do? What did he get done anywhere internationally? Nobody respected him. Putin didn't respect him. The war continued on in Ukraine. Nobody in the Middle East respected him. Iran attacked Saudi Arabia. Obviously, our allies, Turkey, didn't respect us when they killed all the Kurdish people that we abandoned. The Kurdish people obviously don't respect us. The Afghanistan people don't respect us. We fucking surrendered to the Taliban.
Don't get him started.
They continued to test their nuclear missiles after we, went in and Trump saluted their military like a fucking retard. I mean, like, what do you want? Who respects Donald Trump besides the sycophantic losers in the United States that think he's like such a strong guy because he says retarded shit on a microphone like that?
Can I answer now? Putin was scared of him. I don't care if anyone respects him. I want them to be scared of him. We had no wars during Trump. Kim Jong-un respected him. He was scared of him. He intimidates people. And yes, he does go off at a...
Don't get that guy started.
No one going to his rallies, because people do go to his rallies, but it's like calling Mike Tyson a pussy. Like, he's going to overreact and slap you. By the way, I have no respect for international leaders. That's such a queer thing to say, where you respect fucking Merkel or Macron or any of these European dolts. Fuck them. Fuck the Middle East. I don't want anything to do with them. I want them to be scared of America, too scared to attack, so they don't get into wars. And that's what we had. We had unprecedented economic surpluses during Trump's presidency. Immigration was down. Inflation was down. Unemployment was down. And all Destiny could do is say, well, that was because of COVID. Okay, keep making excuses for why Trump's presidency was such a success and Biden's was such an absolute fucking failure. But the facts remain that we were better under Trump.
Yeah, when Trump left office, the country was like destitute. What do you mean? COVID was ravaging us. The lockdowns were happening in every state. The BLM riots had raged on.
That was you. That was you guys.
That's great. Trump was president. That's great. Trump was president. That's great. Trump was president. Trump was president. Trump was president. Who was the president again?
Trump.
Eli, do you know who the president was?
Trump's responsible for your guys.
Do you know that Trump is currently running on one of his major points talking about Kamala Harris is that she wants to give transgender surgery to people in prison. You know, as a policy is implemented under Trump, like it happened when he was president. There was a policy that went into place while he was president. Like, he's like, oh my God, she wants to give a gender affirming care to prisoners. Yeah, you did when you were in office. You did that.
And Biden's responsible for COVID?
No, Biden is responsible for his retarded border czar who opened the borders to 12 million people. Okay. He's responsible for that. He's responsible for unprecedented gas prices. He's responsible for inflation, for destroying the economy. Look at the people you support. Look at Joe Biden. Look at Kamala Harris. Like, I understand you hating Trump because you're weak and you have daddy issues, but how can you then support Kamala Harris? That part I don't get.
What do you mean? It's a choice between two candidates, and Kamala is like clearly more qualified, clearly less retarded.
How is she more qualified?
One, because she knows the three branches of government, at least. Okay. Number two, because she probably respects the institutions of government. She's won multiple and held multiple elected offices.
Like the running for president? Did she win that?
No, she was the district attorney in San Francisco, and she was the attorney general in California twice.
Anyone, my friend. That's all a lie.
You know that those are elected offices, right?
Reward for anyone who can cite any of her cases. She never argued anything in court.
What is arguing anything? What does that have to do with being the district attorney or the attorney general?
She sucked her way to the top. And
to every single person that voted for her? What is this argument?
That got her in the door. That started the ball rolling. And since then, she's done nothing. It's all nepotism.
Yeah. Not like Trump, though, who literally, had his daddy's money and.
I mean, it's similar to this, but not exactly this.
Trump doesn't do nepotism, guys.
And chose Kamala Harris as his vice president nominee in 2020. He said when he was running that he would only choose a woman. Isn't that like singling out and saying, listen, I'm not going to choose any men, and he's limiting his choices? And Stephen, tell me, what do you think?
Wait a second. Here's some excerpts from Phil's chat. Yep, this is it, people. She gets in, we are done. I'm very anxious. I hope Phil has something to share. I'm counting on it. If he doesn't, it's going to put me over the edge. God, I hope he talks tonight. I'm kind of not happy about how they let it go on this long. We're literally 2 days away from the election. It's hard to keep the faith, honestly, which I'm sure everyone else is probably struggling with the same thought right now. Enough already from everybody. A lot of you have all been acting like kindergartners for the last few days, even the ones who are not in it, telling them to stop. Everybody needs to just stop and scroll past and quit acting like children. What happened to the Todd father? I never hear of him anymore. Uh-oh. They're panicking.
Elections are a popularity contest. You pick the people you think are going to get elected.
He didn't say that. He didn't say
you want to say that Kamala
is going to choose a woman.
Probably because he thought a woman would help his chance of getting elected the most. Yeah.
Why?
Well, I don't know if you noticed this, but a little over half the people in this country are women, and people care about things like representation. That's why you're sowing the fuck out over immigration, because you're scared of people that look different than you coming to the country. Like having people like Kamala probably chose Walz because he's white, because he's a white guy, right? I mean, like you want to show up differences. Donald Trump probably chose Pence initially because he was an evangelical.
Trump had historically low gas prices during COVID, obviously, because gas wasn't being sold, people weren't traveling. It was a gigantic cuts. He also convinced OPEC to make a cut, doubled back on him, fucked him over on the deal, and they raised it directly an affront to what he had done to them until he left office.
Dude, you choose people to show up differences to broaden your supporting electorate. There's nothing wrong with that. It's what you're supposed to do.
Yes, there's everything wrong with that. It's called the death of meritocracy. If she was a white male, you never would have heard her name.
If we're talking meritocracy, it's incredibly crazy to me that the liberals, DEI, picked somebody who's more qualified to be president than Donald Trump. That's insane to me. Donald Trump has no qualifications in government. He was a failure of a fucking president. He's a failure of a fucking businessman. He's a failure of a fucking, like, his character is a failure.
You couldn't run a lemonade stand in New York City. This guy was collecting rent in the Bronx in the 80s, telling poor people they had to pay up. That is a fucking feat in and of itself.
It's not, though, because Section 8 housing is like one of the most, it's like bragging about collecting money from fucking Medicare, bro. It's government money. Good for you. He's literally filing bankruptcies on casinos. How the fuck do you go bankrupt in a casino?
You've never run a
Casinos just rake in money.
Business. You don't know what it's like, which is why I keep saying you don't exist. You talk about all these things
Gavin,
from an outsider's
what are you talking about? I probably have more employees than you. I make more money than you. I'm more successful than you. What are you talking about? By every metric, by every measurable metric, Gavin, I've outdone you. At 35, I've already destroyed your entire career, Gavin. You're nothing. You're fading away like as you run from the Proud Boys, as you run from your dying career, as you piss in cups while you're on studio. You can't even get your fucking microphone working today. And you're making fun of this guy for showing up 2 minutes before the debate. Unbelievable.
Yeah. You're a failure, and you don't know what business is.
Oh, yeah?
You never run a business.
I literally run a business. You probably never even filed your own fucking taxes before. My God.
In America. So you don't understand Trump's accomplishments. The less people accomplish, the more they trivialize other people's accomplishments.
Okay, so sticking to policy. So let's go and talk about January 6th. Because I remember that. It was, I think most people remember what happened on January 6th. Gavin, what's your thought on that? Because a lot of voters look at Trump versus Kamala, and they have some thoughts, but they see what happened on January 6th, and that turns them off from Trump. What's your thoughts on that?
I call January 6th the meandering. It was an unfortunate moment of vandalism that was inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. Yet the left and the media have blown it up to literally be as big as Pearl Harbor and 9/11 combined. Guys are doing decades in prison. Enrique Tarrio's doing 22 years. He wasn't even fucking there. There was a couple of assholes that broke some windows, and the rest just meandered in. 2 people died that day, both patriots. No fucking cops died that day. That's all a lie. Nancy Pelosi exacerbated the situation. She encouraged it. The Capitol Police, who aren't police, they're security guards, they exacerbated the situation by throwing flash bombs in there and encouraging people to come inside. It was a dumb mistake that the right did once. The left burned down this country for 2 years. No arrests, no problems. At least it doesn't.
China don't spend anything on climate. Why are we spending so much on climate? If China ain't gonna get down with it, why are we getting down with it? Hell, they have way more people than us. Let's get these energy.
China don't spend any money on climate. What do you think China's doing all the way up there at the top right-hand corner of the screen, and we're doing right? What are we doing, and what are they doing? Yeah. Right. Yeah. China, they spend as much money on renewable energy as the rest of the world combined. Yeah, we're not even a close second to China. We're not. In 2022, 1 year, China spent $546 billion in clean energy. You know what that's going to be in 2024? $750 billion. China's going to spend nearly as much on clean and renewable energy this year than we spend on defense. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. And, it's true. Their emissions are still increasing. That's because they're also adding coal as backup power to their renewable energy. But when their emissions do start dropping, they're going to drop really fast and by a lot. Yeah. Thanks.
Mr. Global. I was looking for his other video. Where he gives the stats about...
globally or just in the United States?
This is about the OPEC 2020 deal that Trump did, but I don't think it's the one I'm looking for. I should have put all these links together.
Did the OPEC 2020 deal affect gas prices globally or just in the United States? That is the question I've been asked right here. It absolutely impacted gas prices anywhere in the entire world you buy gas. Even in countries where they subsidize the gasoline so heavily that the people that live there get it super cheap, even their gas prices went up. So it 1,000% contributed to global inflation as well as inflation in the United States.
It literally, from the entire time that the Trump OPEC 2020 deal, from the start to finish, inflation was on the rise across the board for every product. And then as soon as it ended, inflation stopped going up.
It just did. Now, of course, it's not the only thing that caused inflation, but it was a big driver. It was one of the big things. I mean, we still would have had some inflation without it, but nothing near the levels we saw. Not even close. Not even close. The way that deal was structured was just ridiculous. Nobody that knows anything would have ever agreed to that. You do a 3-month cut, you reassess, and then you either keep them or you lessen them or whatever, but you do it every quarter and reassess. You don't just do a blanket 2-year agreement.
Let me see if this.
So I want to show you something that I have never showed you before.
I remember it said this is going to make you mad or this is going to piss you off or something like that was the title of it, but I can't find it.
Something that I have never showed you before, and it's going to be interesting. The end of it's really going to piss you off, though. So this is U.S. gas prices between April of 20.
Oh, this is it.
And May 1st of 20.
All right, where's that fucking retard that was just in here?
2022. This is U.S. inflation between April of 2020 and May 1st of 2022. This is global inflation between April of 2020 and May 1st of 2022. And this is the one that's going to piss you off. This is the price of bacon between April of 2020 and May 1st of 2022, and that represents a $2 increase per pound. Now you can look up the price of about anything between April of 2020 and May 1st of 2022 and come up with those results that I just showed you.
But why?
You know what started it?
What happened from May 1st to April of 2022? May 1st, 2020 to April of 2022.
April of 2020 and ended May 1st of 2022. Do you know what caused this?
Chat, what caused this?
This, and most importantly, the bacon. That is correct. The OPEC 2020 deal, which Donald Trump brokered and agreed to with OPEC to cut oil production globally by 10% between April of 2020 and it expired May 1st, 2022.
God damn it, Trump.
Prices started to drop, global inflation started to drop, U.S. inflation began to drop, and most importantly, the price of bacon started to drop. Thanks.
I'm saving this.
People killed during those riots, and it's fiery but mostly peaceful. So the fact that they are able to make January 6th into such a huge deal is proof that the media is in bed with the DNC and they are all Marxist propagandists.
Do you think it was a big deal that on the day of when they were certifying the election, there was a riot in the Capitol?
Nobody knew that they were delaying the certification. It was a spontaneous riot that was the result of a lot of anger that was built up from shitty media reporting, that was built up from fucking the stolen election, and that was built up from watching the left riot for 2 years. They'd had enough, and they snapped. It was very.
Why were all the people at the Capitol?
What?
Why were the people there?
They were there to support Trump.
Oh, so it wasn't spontaneous. All of them showed up because Trump showed up.
The rioting was
Trump
spontaneous.
told them to come there. Trump told them to come there. He said it was going to be a historic event. What was the historic event? Just watching Trump give a speech?
A big rally. A million man march.
That was the a million man march. Marching to where?
To D.C. Just show up in D.C.
That's it. No, they're not marching anywhere. He didn't say we're going to go walk down Pennsylvania Avenue to the Capitol. He didn't say that.
Did he say go to the Capitol?
Yes, he did. You fucking retard.
Well, he said be peaceful.
No, he said I know you'll be peaceful. He said 20 minutes into an hour-long speech where he's rambling the whole time about election fraud and how you have to fight like hell, you're going to lose your country. So it's a fucking coincidence that everybody just happened to march out of the Capitol and a giant fucking riot happened after Trump. That was a coincidence, spontaneous.
Pinning that riot on him is so stupid. The fact that he is facing jail time for facilitating a riot that the left facilitated. Your guys exacerbated that situation and made those poor bastards snap. And you have so much resentment for those people, those average Americans.
Spontaneous riot. It was your Proud Boys that broke in first too. That's the funniest part, right? You know that, right? You know that your Proud Boys were the first people into the Capitol, right? The first people to break down the barriers and the first people to break into the building, right?
No, we're still figuring out who were the first people.
No, we're not.
And my understanding
is
the first people who went in have not been arrested. So it's very curious.
Oh, really?
Who were the actual people facilitating that?
That's crazy. I thought
this isn't true.
Solo was the first guy in. I thought we have like 50 million fucking videos of it. We watched him break the window down with a fucking riot shield. He got arrested for it. What do you mean?
Did you watch Antifa get Ashley Babbitt shot? Did you see that?
No, I watched a bunch of Trumples get Ashley Babbitt shot while the fucking retard was trying to climb through a window and go attack congressman. I saw that, yeah.
That was John Earl.
That's kind of your fault, Gavin. Kind of your fault. Kind of your fault. People like you are the reason why she died. Yes. I'm sure you feel great about it, too.
I told them it was a trap. I predicted the trap. And Antifa got Ashley Babbitt shot. His name is John Sullivan. He went to jail for it finally because CNN was unable, after paying him 20 grand for the footage, to convince the justice system that he was an actual journalist because he isn't. And now he's in jail. Antifa is in jail for January 6th. John Sullivan is his name.
Okay.
Look him up, John Earl Sullivan.
Is in jail for what?
Go, push. He's pushing Ashley Babbitt to go through the window. Then she gets shot by an affirmative action cop, totally unqualified dude, constantly leaving his gun in the bathroom. The guy's a nincompoop.
What are we?
And he's portrayed as someone
You're
who
actually like
saves the
delusional
day.
shit. I don't know if it's intentional. You're actually fucking insane.
Which part is inaccurate that I just said?
Every single thing you said was irrelevant.
That guy that they claimed was Antifa, he was there. He wasn't a Trump supporter, but he was there to clear. Obviously, he knew something big was going to happen. Everybody did when they fucking marched down there. He was recording. He was one of the first people in, and he ended up going to jail just the same way the Trumples did.
The fact is that Ashley Babbitt was part of a group of people that were breaking down a fucking window with guys on the other end that were pointing guns saying, stay the fuck back. And she climbed through like a retard and she got shot like a retard. And then she died with a bunch of sweaty, type 2 diabetic, dipshit Trumples taking pictures of her fucking body and she's bleeding out of her fucking neck. Because of people like you. Because of people like you. You hate America. You hate this country so much. You have so much resentment for it. You hate it. You hate America. That's why you love Trump. You want to live under an authoritarian dictator.
Your whole politics are based on spite.
He wasn't Antifa either. They had him at a couple of protests, but that's what he had been doing for years was videography of political events, protests, riots, even.
So, Stephen, do you want to just talk about why you're voting Kamala? Governor responded. I think that's probably close near there. Why you prefer Kamala over Trump? Yeah.
Because she's not a fucking insane authoritarian fucking dictator. I mean, what do you mean? That's the easiest choice in the world. I would vote for Nikki Haley over Trump without even a second thought. I would vote for fucking DeSantis over Trump. I mean, Biden was a successful leader, way more successful than most people would have thought. Got a lot of legislation passed. The United States is outperforming every other G7 OECD country when it comes to metrics like inflation. Our real wages are up compared to where they were under Trump. Yeah, I think we're doing pretty good right now. I would want to see a continuation of that.
Yeah, Gavin, I mean, can you respond to those statistics, like highest performing G7?
Garbage. Like he says, unemployment is great. There's all these people out of the workforce that have just given up because our economy is so shit. We don't have manufacturing. We have illegals doing all the jobs teenagers should be doing. We are destitute, and our only
How do these people just give up and go out of the work? How do they survive?
hope is to stem the bleeding. Like we're still gonna. My analogy would be like if you're bleeding to death, your leg's gone, it's toast. But I want to put some sort of stop to the bleeding. What do you call it? Tourniquet on the leg, and we'll lose the leg. We'll just have crutches for 4 years. But with Kamala, with these open borders, we're just going to keep bleeding. And the secret is culture first. A culture of pride, a lack of shame, a lack of political correctness. Getting back to meritocracy is the key to saving America. You let the best man win, and that's what we should see on Tuesday. Yeah. But with this record of law breaking and stealing elections, I'm not very confident we got it. It has to be too big to rig.
Meritocracy. When we talk about super closed borders, when we talk about tariffing the rest of the world, the most protectionist economy you've ever talked about. So meritorious. Wow.
Yeah, well, China's cheating. China, it doesn't have, if you're a worker in China, you're working 80 hours a week. That's cheating. That's not fair competition. They don't see their fucking kids. Their kids are with their grandparents. They see them at Chinese New Year for a month, and then they don't see their children for the rest of the year. I don't want that to become America. I don't want that level.
Oh, so working 80 hours a week, so you don't want meritocracy. You want government protections for workers. The person that works 80 hours a week, that's not meritorious? The guy wants to work 2 jobs, he's not doing better on merit there?
Oh, okay. This is the merit. The merit happens within America. We're not turning the rest of the
so no more exports? We're not going to ship our products anywhere, buy our products from anybody? We're just only in America?
Yeah, we're going to ship our products. Our products are made ethically. We don't use slave labor like the rest of the fucking world. I don't want that to come over here. I don't want to dilute our culture to the shittiest possible version of what human beings can do. Sorry.
This is like, so the argument about this like protectivism, I thought of a better way to explain it. We tried to talk about it last night. Let's say you want to build a house, okay? And you have 50 people that you can use to build this house. You can do one of two things, right? So you could take your people and split them up evenly and have them go out into the woods and saw down trees, work a sawmill, cutting it into boards. Someone else is mining fucking granite for countertops. Someone else is working at a factory building pipes, right? Making pipes for the plumbing. Someone else is at a drywall factory, right? And you could spread them out. Or you could buy those supplies from someone else and have your 50 people assemble the house on your property, right? So we have a limited number of people in the workforce. The U.S. should concentrate on those final steps, like we're putting fucking Teslas together. We might not have wound the motor. We might not have built the battery. We might not have mined the fucking ore that made the body panels, but we're assembling the Tesla. And when you take a job and break it down in steps, there's always those final steps versus the early steps. They pay higher wages. They demand more money for the product, right? You're making a more finalized product. Every time you take a step to make a more finalized product, there's a better profit margin. So when the U.S. does these finalization jobs, that's good for us, right? We're using our limited workforce, because every workforce is limited, to do the best and highest paying things, which is good for us. it's good for us to buy, the components for a battery in China, and then here we build the battery and install it in the car. It's good for us to build the house without having to be the lumberjacks and the sawmill and the pop factory and everything else. There's more revenue made on those final steps of the job. And if we can only have so many people doing the things, we can't be all of them. We can't be the lumberjack and the plumber, and the guy that works at the plumbing factory, and the guy that mines the gypsum to make the drywall, and the guy who builds the house. You can be either or, but you can't be all of those. If we go to mining the ore and the materials for the battery and pre-assembling those, and someone else is going to do the manufacturing. So now the cars are being made in China, right? The final assembly is being made in China or Mexico or wherever. But because we can't do it all, we have a limited workforce.
Sorry.
Okay, so we'll just finish off. I just want to ask one question to each of you. Stephen, so, Stephen, if Trump wins, will you accept the election this week?
I don't know if we should. No, I mean, liberals probably will. We just, unfortunately, Gavin's right a little bit. We are kind of pussies. I don't think we have it in us to basically try to coup the fucking government like Trump did. So probably just accept it, go on and try to win the next election.
They were trying to take over the government by 2 p.m. with no weapons.
Did they delay the certification of the vote?
Did they know they were delaying the certification of the vote?
Yes. You dipshit. What do you think they were there to protest?
Wrong.
Yeah, they did.
Do you know how many times
They were literally there to somehow stop the certification. They knew that Mike Pence either had to do it or they had to do it. Trump told them that.
left has drastically delayed government proceedings?
When was the last time the left delayed the certification of the vote? When was the last time they delayed the certification of the vote?
Did you remember when they attacked the Supreme Court under Kavanaugh? Remember when the Black Panthers? You probably thought it was cool when the Black Panthers stormed the Capitol and they were armed. That looked cool, though. That was a good photo op.
True.
They delayed the certification. Fuck off. They lost their temper.
Yeah, reality sucks,
like
right?
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there they are. They spontaneously had no response for this video.
So I want to show you something that I have never showed you before, and it's going to be interesting. The end of it's really going to piss you off, though.
Just be quiet and watch for a second, retard.
Between April of 2020 and May 1st of 2022. This is U.S. inflation between April of 2020 and May 1st of 2022. This is global inflation between April of 2020 and May 1st of 2022. And this is the one that's going to piss you off. This is the price of bacon between April of 2020 and May 1st of 2022. And that represents a $2 increase per pound. Now, you can look up the price of about anything between April of 2020 and May 1st of 2022.
April of 2020 and April 1st of 2020 and May 1st of 2022. Those dates keep coming up on inflation, global inflation, gas prices, the price of bacon, and the price of everything from April 1st of 2020 to May 1st of 2022. What else happened then?
And come up with those results that I just showed you. Now, do you know what started in April of 2020 and ended May 1st of 2022? Do you know what caused this?
What caused everything to rise?
This
is the inflation.
And most importantly, the bacon.
Weird, everything comes down after that date.
That is correct. The OPEC 2020.
Trump plays key role in brokering a historic oil deal that lasted from April 1st of 2020 to May 1st of 2022.
Deal, which Donald Trump brokered and agreed to with OPEC to cut oil production globally by 10% between April of 2020 and it expired May 1st, 2022. And
oh no.
Gas prices started to drop, global inflation started to drop, U.S. inflation began to drop, and most importantly, the price of bacon started to drop. Thanks.
Trump is 100% responsible for everything that he blames everybody else for. He's just too dumb to realize it.
So I'm going to ask you the same question as Stephen. If Kamala Harris wins the election this week, will you and the right accept it?
That's a loaded bullshit question.
I mean, that's the same to Stephen.
If they win a gold medal in the Olympics, will you accept that Russia won the swimming medal? Yes, I will, if they are tested for doping and they did it fair and square. Of course I would accept fair election results, but I want an investigation if Kamala wins because it doesn't make any sense.
Unreal.
He's destroying in the polls. And more importantly, I travel this country. I talk to people. I see the lawn signs. I leave my house and I see a country that is head over heels excited about Trump winning. You don't see Kamala lawn signs if you you ever go outside, Steve, you
The polls are pretty, in terms of polls, they're pretty same. Trump and Kamala are basically the same in polls.
Not unless he believes him.
Yeah, that's not the case. The case is that he's absolutely crushing her. And that will be the case on the election if everything is fair. And if that happens, then I'll accept it. If they cheat, I won't. Obviously. You have to check for doping before you accept it.
Like a tiny Cheeto.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Gavin and Stephen. It was an interesting conversation.
Damn it. That was rough. Mr. Global, we haven't checked on Mr. Global lately. Let's go check some of his more recent content. I haven't seen it.
From Russia to Germany and all over Europe. World goes from Russia to Germany and all over Europe. I killed it. Nobody would kill it but me. I stopped it. The thing was half built.
Yeah, he stopped nothing. Yeah, it was half built. It was 96% built when Joe Biden lifted the sanctions. Keep in mind, those sanctions were not against Russia. Those sanctions were against the EU. But why did Donald Trump put sanctions on the Nord Stream pipeline? Why did he sanction our own allies? Because Big Oil wanted him to. He was doing the bidding of Big Oil. This shows existing LNG terminals in the United States. This shows approved new LNG terminals in the United States that are being built, and this is additional proposed LNG terminals. Donald Trump sanctioned our own allies at the request of the U.S. oil industry because they've invested hundreds of billions of dollars in LNG, and they want to sell that LNG to Europe. The sanctions against the EU did nothing but harm our relationship with them. When he imposed them, the EU came out and said, as a matter of principle, the EU opposes the imposition of sanctions against EU companies conducting legitimate business. The EU was pissed that we were trying to impose on them our will. And they said, we don't give a shit. We're going to finish it anyway. And that's exactly what they did. So right when they were nearing completion, Joe Biden lifted the sanctions to try to restore our relationships with the EU.
I can't comment on signs. I live in fucking Trumpville, USA, dude.
Don't get it twisted. These sanctions had nothing to do with Donald Trump imposing his will on Russia, and everything to do with the U.S. oil and gas industry imposing their will on Donald Trump. Thanks.
I know he made a video about the education, doing away with the Department of Education.
The gas prices were $1.87. The oil companies went to Donald Trump and said, we are getting crushed with gas prices at $1.87. Please go to Saudi Arabia and your friend MBS.
So this is a piece, that little piece right there of what Mark is saying, because he's been repeating what I've been saying. I haven't said that. This is something that he's added, and it's also something that I don't agree with. And I'm not saying that a couple of oil companies weren't involved. What I'm saying is they didn't go to Donald Trump. They went directly to OPEC. And I'm talking
thank you for the resubscription.
About Scott Sheffield of Pioneer and John Hess of Hess. And there's something important to understand about this is that these were independent oil companies. That means John Hess could do whatever he wanted. That means Scott Sheffield could do whatever he wanted. When you look at the big oil companies like Exxon, Chevron, Shell, BP, those CEOs and executives.
I do think that this so Donald Trump lost to Joe Biden. I've never seen people less enthusiastic to vote for someone as they were for Joe Biden. Even Hillary Clinton had like diehard fucking supporters that were doing their thing, but maybe it was COVID, maybe it was the lack of rallies, maybe it was the way he ran his campaign, but people were just voting against Trump.
Could not do what Scott Sheffield and John Hess did here. That is the quickest way to get shit canned if you work for big oil. So these were independent oil companies. But I don't think these two guys went to Donald Trump. I don't think that for 1 second. I think they were working with OPEC all along. And that is because these two individuals had relationships with OPEC and oil ministers in OPEC long before Donald Trump was ever dreamed of. They were personally negotiating with OPEC during the Obama administration trying to get prices up. At the end of 2018 into 2019, when Donald Trump completely crashed the oil and gas market by, double-crossing Saudi Arabia with the production prices, it was these two guys that went to OPEC and convinced them to cut production to restore prices to before Donald Trump crashed the market. And these two guys were in communication with OPEC prior to Donald Trump having any communication with OPEC. We will find out exactly how this happened and how all this played out when these FTC investigations are released and everything is made public. But I very strongly believe that these two individuals went to OPEC, not Donald Trump. I believe they went to...
Oh, thank you for the donation. Elise, $10. Shiba dog rolling on the floor, laughing out loud. Thank you.
And said, this is what we can deliver you. We can deliver you this 2-year guaranteed production cut. I believe this was done by these two people. I believe the OPEC ministers and MBS agreed to it, and then it was presented to Donald Trump. Because we know that these two individuals, Scott Sheffield and John Hess, played a role in how the OPEC 2020 deal was structured. And the core tenets of that deal was structured and put together before Donald Trump was even involved. So I believe they constructed the deal with OPEC, which benefited them unbelievably. Once they had the foundational terms set with OPEC, then they presented it to Donald Trump. That's what I believe happened. And I'm telling you right now, you need to bookmark, you need to favorite this video, because you're going to want to go watch it when these FTC investigations come out.
Oh, you're good.
Do it. Do it. Bookmark it. Favorite.
Hell, I haven't been on a lot the last fucking over a month because of we got fucked in the flood.
A lot of conservatives are demanding that I denounce Mark Cuban for what he said regarding the women that Donald Trump surrounds himself with. Apparently, since he likes to repost a lot of my content on X, then I'm somehow responsible for him. Yeah. Oh, the irony that so many people demand I denounce the words of someone that I'm not voting for, that's not running for office, when they have never denounced the just unbelievable and vile things that the person they are voting for has said about women, minorities.
It always is. The right's always like, oh my God, you caused this violence. Oh my God, I can't believe you said this. Oh my God. They've spent literally years screaming, fuck Joe Biden, talking about how he's a pedophile and he's this and he's a clone and he's dead and he's that and he's got dementia. And then he calls them garbage one time and they lose their fucking minds and start wearing garbage bags to rallies.
LGBTQ. Yeah, but I have to denounce Mark Cuban. Right. You know, people that follow me, I've been pretty clear about my support for women and how I feel about women. That's no secret to anybody. Mark is a big boy. Mark is a billionaire. He certainly doesn't need little old me to defend him. What's really rich is people demanding me to denounce his words. That's what's really rich about it. Okay, I denounce what Mark Cuban said. How's that? Is that good enough for you? And I'll finish with this. And I'm not talking about anybody in particular. You can be an independent person and not be a strong independent person. You can be a successful person and not be a strong successful person. Whether you are a man or a woman, you cannot be strong and independent or strong and successful. You cannot use the word strong to describe yourself if you literally enable the worst types of behaviors in other people. That's not a thing. You don't get to be strong when you're an ableist and when you're an enabler. No matter how successful you are, no matter how smart you are, no matter what you've accomplished, you don't get to use the word strong when you're an enabler. No, because that is a huge sign of weakness. Yeah, thanks. This is exhausting. You know, it just is. Okay. Oil surges on report Iran is planning fresh attack on Israel. Israeli intelligence has picked up something and oil had already been recovering. You know, it kind of crashed a few days ago, and I told you guys that wasn't going to continue, and it's been slowly building back up, but this is, you know, now I'm going to preface this by saying that I could be wrong, and, you know, I don't like to speculate a lot. I like to stick to the facts, but I don't believe them. No, I don't believe Iran. I think they're doing this to boost the price. Yeah. I think they're doing this to boost the price. Keep in mind, when Israel hit, they took out all of their air defenses of their oil infrastructure and a lot of their nuclear infrastructure. Now, I'm not saying with certainty. I'm just saying I don't believe them. And I will caveat that by saying I could be wrong, okay? I could be, but I don't. I don't believe them at all. We'll see. Thanks.
He's a pretty smart dude.
It's 2024, and we're having to tell women that it's safe and that it's okay for them to vote for who they want to vote for. And we're having to tell them it's okay to just keep a secret if you have to. What? That's not a thing. In my house, in my family. That's not a thing. You know, we have strong...
There's a trend of people saying that they can't tell their husband who they voted for because they don't know how he'll react because he's so bought into the fucking Trump shit.
Independent women in my family. But you know what else we have? We have men. We have men who support them. And since we have men that support them, real men, not actors, they feel safe. They know they can vote for whoever they want. It's not a discussion we have to have. But I recognize that that is not the case
Silent women, that's my top.
in all households. And what a fucking shame. And anywhere that that's happening, there may be some males present, but there's not any men present anywhere that that's happening. Those aren't men. They're not. Those are not men.
President Trump, we were once again energy independent for the first time in 70 years. And now under Joe Biden, we're no longer energy independent. There is a push.
Hi, I'm Matt, and I'm a globally recognized oil and gas expert. I go by Mr. Global on TikTok. I'm also the vice president and principal partner of my own fully integrated upstream oil and gas company. I've been featured in many news publications around the country, and in the coming days, we'll be announcing my partnership with another news organization. But to address what you have just played here as a news organization, we are 9 times more energy independent today than we were in 2019.
Ooh. Oof. 9 times more energy independent than we were under the Trump administration.
You see, energy independence is measured by how much you produce and how much you consume. And if you produce more total energy than you consume, then you're considered to be energy independent. And when Donald Trump left office, we were producing 1 quadrillion BTUs of energy more than we were consuming. The end of 2023, we were producing 9 quadrillion BTUs more than we were consuming. In addition to that, in 2023, we produced more oil than any country ever had in history. And in 2024, we're going to break that record again. In addition to that, we're producing more natural gas than any country in history. In addition to that, we're the largest natural gas exporter in the world. And in addition to that, we're the largest exporter of refined petroleum products in the world. Now, I noticed in your comment section, there was quite a few people, likely people who follow me, telling you that that was incorrect, and you were demanding that they cite their source. So the question I have for you, why didn't you ask that lady you were interviewing to cite your source? I mean, she came on your channel, or maybe it's her channel too, and you broadcasted misinformation. And then when people reply and say, hey, that's not correct, you're demanding a source. Where is her source? Where is her source that we're no longer energy independent?
Uh-oh.
If you haven't figured it out yet, my role on this app and my role with my new news media organization that I'm joining is to fight misinformation. So, nice to meet you. Thanks. Products, well, otherwise known as processing gain in refining. And to quickly get you up to speed on what I'm talking about, when you refine a 42-gallon barrel of oil in the United States, you get 45 gallons of product out of that barrel of finished products. It's called processing gain. And you get nearly, not quite 6.5% more product in your output than in your inputs. Refinery outputs are larger than their inputs because there's a well over 6% gain, a volumetric gain, because the products that are you're putting out, the finished products, have a lower specific gravity than your inputs, than the products you're starting with. So a simple way to say it, you're taking something much thicker and you're making it much thinner, and the products that you're making out of it are much thinner, right? So you do get a volumetric gain. I had a debate with a person about this the other night. They said that's impossible. No, you can absolutely get a volumetric gain. What you can't gain is mass, right? So you can't get more mass, but you can get more volume by changing the specific gravity of the products. And if you're not familiar with specific gravity, it's basically, relative density or density, right? And the specific gravity or relative density is measured against water at like 40 degrees. So if oil has a specific gravity of, 0.87, basically it has 87% of the density of water, and that's why it's lighter than water. That's why it floats on top, right? Now, the specific gravity of fuels like diesel and gasoline can vary, but a good average number for diesel would be like 0.83, and a good average for gasoline would be, probably 0.74, somewhere in there. So if you were to have water, oil, diesel, and gasoline all in a glass of water, or all in a glass, the water would be on bottom, and then the oil would be on top of the water, the diesel would be on top of the oil, and the gasoline would be on top of the diesel.
It's how you get 46 gallons of oil out of a 42-gallon barrel.
Arguing about oil and gas, and as always,
Biden literally removed Trump's sanctions off the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Ha ha ha.
Well, we got a couple of folks arguing about oil and gas, and as always, I've been called in. And it appears the argument is mostly around Russia, oil, sanctions, all of this stuff. So here this person says that Biden lifted the sanctions on the Nord Stream pipeline that Trump had put in place. That is true. That is true. But what this statement does not include is the reason why. You see, Donald Trump placed sanctions on the construction of the Nord Stream pipeline from Russia to Germany. But that didn't stop them from building the pipeline. No, crazy. Just because you put sanctions on somebody doesn't stop them from doing what they want to do anyway, right? Right. I mean, this is proven today with the sanctions we currently have on Russian oil. So basically, the sanctions that Trump put on this pipeline to provide natural gas to Germany damaged our relationship with Germany because they wanted the natural gas. And the pipeline was nearing completion. I believe it was 96% complete, and it was going to be open pretty soon. Sanctions or no sanctions. So Joe Biden lifted the sanctions on the pipeline. Because they were finishing it anyway. You understand? Like, the sanctions were on the construction of the pipeline, not on the sale of the natural gas. You understand what I'm saying? They were 96% done. They were finishing it anyway. So it was a diplomatic gesture for Joe Biden to lift those sanctions. And I know that you must think that that pipeline was going to carry oil because you also say that Donald Trump put sanctions on Russian oil, which is completely false. Imports of Russian oil into the United States during the Trump administration are right here. See that high point? That's 2019. There's 2020. In 2019, we imported more oil from Russia than we had all the way back here during the early parts of the Obama administration. So our oil imports from Russia actually went up during the Trump administration. And the reason the graph stops is because this is where our imports stopped when Biden put the sanctions on Russia. Now, those sanctions don't prevent Russia from selling oil to the rest of the world on the black market because they're still doing it. So I hope that clears up a couple of the talking points that you guys are arguing about. I'm going to go about my way. Thanks.
He's pretty good at what he covers, for sure. He seems like he doesn't talk on subjects he doesn't know anything about. What's this?
Side, the arrogance of people these days. I don't care what side you're on politically. If someone asks you or demands that you explain to them why you are voting the way you are, there is only one answer. And that answer is, it is none of your fucking business how I decide to exercise my fucking God-given rights.
Damn.
You don't owe anybody an explanation for how you exercise your rights, no matter how you exercise them or who you vote for. And then there's the whole ridiculous fallacy of it, telling people to explain who they're voting for without mentioning the other person. That just tells me that they can't even stand to hear about how flawed their own choice is. I believe that's a suppressed correlative fallacy. I could be wrong, but I believe that's what it is. Another really good answer is simply, go fuck yourself. Yeah. Thanks.
Damn it.
About Mr. Wonderful saying we could use oil from Anwar to pay off.
If we can find a way to help reduce the debt without increasing taxes, then 20% sounds good for a year. Need to start somewhere instead of ignoring the debt for our kids to pay.
So in response to my video about Mr. Wonderful saying we could use oil from Anwar to pay off the national debt, and I stated that if we sold all 10 billion barrels in Anwar, it would only pay 20% of the interest payment on the national debt for 1 year. To summarize, this person basically says, you got to start somewhere, right? The part you're not understanding is that for us to produce and sell over 10 billion barrels of oil out of Anwar, that process would take 30 years. So it would take us 30 years of work to generate enough revenue to pay 20% of just the interest on the debt for one of those 30 years, which means that each year, the revenue from Anwar would pay not even 1% of the interest, but 0.66% of the interest each year. Yeah, I understand we got to start somewhere, but we got to start somewhere better than that. Yeah, yeah.
Makes sense. Mr. Global, everybody.
Why is it so easy to find people?
God, this guy's a right side dating app or guy or whatever. I fucking hate this guy.
If the vaccine was so great, why is it so easy to find people who regret taking it, but not a single person who regrets not taking it?
Wait a second. Does he hear what he hear what he said? Why is it hard to find people who regret not taking the vaccine? Let me ask you, chat. Why is it so hard to find people who regret not taking the vaccine?
If the vaccine was so great, why is it so easy to find people who regret taking it, but not a single person who regrets not taking it?
You know, for the first time, I think this guy might be right about this. Like, I have spent my entire day trying to find...
They're dead. They're fucking dead.
Out. Like, where would I find someone that regretted not getting a COVID vaccine? And where, like, I feel like it's right there on the tip of my tongue. Like, have you ever found yourself, like, it's like you know the answer, you just can't like spit it out. I'm kind of in that place right now. I feel like I'm so close to getting the answer, you know, to figuring out, where do you find these people? Where in the world do you find these people that regret not getting the vaccine? But I just can't. For the life of me, I can't find them. And it's like right here. Like I know I'm getting close. I know I am getting so close. And I am going to solve this riddle. I'm going to solve this. And when I figure this out, I'm telling you right now.
I'm sure all the people who died of COVID probably regret not getting the vaccine if they're unvaccinated.
I'm going to get back with you guys and let you know that. Wait a minute. What the fuck?
That was a very good video. So apparently Pokimane, I can't show you guys, but apparently Pokimane had first of all, you guys,
my video about Mr. Wonderful saying,
you guys remember when I was live last night and I got a warning from Twitch that I wasn't in the right category? I've never had that happen before. I'm usually on just chatting because we talk about all kinds of stuff. Some of it's politics, some of it's not. It's police videos, all that shit, right? The reason that Twitch came out and gave me a warning was because they have a new policy in place. And a lot of people are up in arms about it because it seems like the entire point of this policy is because Hassan Piker, their largest streamer, is basically advocating and saying crazy things about Jewish people while he's trying to defend Palestinian people, like really fucked up things. Like about rape and killing and murder and death and explosions and all. And they don't want to get rid of Hassan because they got rid of Destiny. Now Hassan's their big political streamer. Like he's like their number one political streamer. Thousands of people watch him. They make thousands of dollars off of him. That's where a ton of their viewer base comes from. So instead, they've just added a category for inflammatory topics, including politics, right? So a lot of people on Twitter are up in arms about that. And then Pokimane, who was like a huge female streamer, just had like her whole fucking tit out on stream for like 3 minutes. I think it was yesterday, maybe. I don't know. I remember seeing it. Was it this morning when I woke up? I saw it on LSF. She just had her whole fucking tit out on stream for like 3 or 4 minutes today. So a lot of bad press for Twitch lately. They had one of their gigantic streamers basically get in their own category to protect them from terms of service, and people are upset about that. People are calling them out, including like H3H3, Destiny, Willie Mac Show, and then fucking Pokimane's entire fucking tit fell out on a stream today. And she didn't know for like, it wasn't like this was like bait and like she was just showing her tits and was pretending like she obviously didn't know. Like she'd been over to pick something up, then came back and she legitimately didn't know. So there you go. Twitch is not getting the greatest press. And then when I went live tonight, somebody texted me or responded to my post on on Twitter that just says, "Miss me yet? 11/3/2024 live now at everyone. Come join us. We are on Twitch." They responded with, "Twitch's CEO is a pedo." So there you go. What is nips? Question. What the fuck does that even mean? Does she have nipples? Yes, I would assume. I would assume she has nipples. It seems like most people do. Her entire tit was out. I can't show it. So that probably includes the nipples that she has, unless they've been surgically removed. I don't. Nips? Question mark? Kind of like pepperonis, to be honest with you. A little bigger than I anticipated. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. We still don't have a road, so I got to ride to Windwilling, so I can't stay any later. I'm going to try to be live on election night. We'll hang out here for a few hours. We'll try to go live earlier. and talk about it and hang out while some results roll in, hopefully. And I'll just bite the bullet and ride in late as fuck on the one wheel that day. But if I had a road and could just drive the fuck in, it'd be easier. But I can't. So thanks a lot, Helene and Obama. We'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good night. Don't forget to go vote. And we'll see y'all on the next one. We do have a bunch of backlog Phil videos to cover. I just haven't been feeling Phil. I'm just ready for Phil to be done. Right? Everybody call him out as a piece of shit. So we'll see. I'm not checking mod chat. What are you showing me? Your nips? Nips question mark? Check the mod chat. That sounds scandalous. You got Disaster Man merch too and nobody else does? You know they're going to hate you for this, right? There are other people that want the Disaster Man merch and it's Suko's hogging it all. At Suko's, hogging every bit of it. If you add coldbeer.live, I don't know if you guys know this, but if you go to any web browser, including on your phone, and type in, not coldbeer.fund, that's the donation site, coldbeer.live instead of .com, coldbeer.live, it just brings you to my Twitter, or I'm sorry, my Twitch. So there you go. Folks, it's about time you learned that. Coldbeer.live is a website I own that redirects to my Twitch. So if I'm not on Twitch, it'll go to my YouTube, but I'm almost always on Twitch. See you guys on the next one. Have a good night. Love you. See you. Bye.
But I can tell you this.
Take it up with Itsuko. Take it up with Itsuko, okay?
You don't have the
I can't even get it to you. They won't even give me the fucking link. So take it up with Itsuko.
Exactly who they are and telling the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the fork and balls. You don't have the balls.
Apparently they're made in one specific factory by Godzilla in Japan. I don't know.
Shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best.
That's right. And the way to make America great again is to never let that orange son of a bitch back in the White House or any position of power.
In a 6 cents for the stupid shit. Where my true believer? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like four in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go.
I don't know. It's election season. We're definitely covering the election. But I don't know if I can't work at the campground because it's closed, condemned, it's shit. I'm trying to get my disability fixed. I don't know that the show will be viable. I don't know. We just have to see. Not to go back on the road.
Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He's happy on his shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Wait. Stop. What? What? I'll get my files. What are you doing? Stop. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously. My mom's an alcoholic. Oh, give me oh my God. Damn it. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Round three. Down goes Nino. Please say it isn't so. Got him backed up on the ropes, trying to ram it down his throat. Now things are getting rocking. He was doing so well. It's all over. Hands on his shoulders. They ringing his bell. You got Frog News Network doing no damn research. They rework and copy on cocks that came first. Ninth inning, second string, and they acting like they know hitters. Ass on slow and bullshit and runs to the shitter. All this nonsense on my conscience. It's hard to sleep at night. Who the fuck is in my window with this time of the night? These parasites, these leeches, with all their secret meetings, teaching all you fucking cretins about baby-eating heathens. Believing in reasons with no meaning is bullshit. Will Bird motherfuckers out here busting the grifts. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
You don't have those guts because you're a pussy. You're a pussy wearing aviator glasses.